Daycare worker arrested for abuse, put her up for a mask. Unbelievable story, but it happened. 23-year-old Alyssa Eve Dupree, a now former employee of a Louisiana daycare, has been arrested for child abuse, endangerment. Dupree is facing 6 counts of cruelty to a juvenile as a former employee at Pumpkin Patch Daycare in Louisiana. Her bond is currently set at $18,000. Let me give you the background. Disturbing footage obtained by local news shows employees duct taping children, duct taping them to chairs, scaring them with masks to the point of tears, and throwing cheese at their faces in this position. I want you to look at that scene for a minute. We would call that torture if done to an adult. Done to a child, it is more than torture. They are seen laughing. The individuals, the adults are laughing while the children are crying for help. According to Adriana Rasmussen, whose family member was a worker at the facility, the abuse has been ongoing for years. Quote, there was a lot of mistreatment of kids. The workers, the staff would put their hands on people's kids, and she worked there years ago. The video obtained by local media is reportedly 2.5 years old. However, it will not hinder the pursuit of additional charges, and there's no statute of limitations for this. The local police chief, Kyle Lebeau, confirmed that the investigation is ongoing and additional arrests are likely. Quote, an innocent child should not have to go through that, especially if someone put that child in someone else's care. It's by our understanding, this could possibly be quite old, but that really doesn't matter when it comes to criminal charges. Once again, no statute of limitation has been expired here. State authorities, well, what are they doing? Well, state authorities, interestingly enough, are now taking a new initiative to conduct their own investigation. According to records from the Louisiana Department of Education, the daycare has been subjected to 15 inspections, among which 9 were found to have deficiencies. While the most recent inspection in October 2022 did not reveal any deficiencies, the inspection the year prior indicated that the daycare was cited for failing to meet the requirements of maintaining indoor and outdoor areas free of hazards. Last July, all staff members were cited for not having CPR certification as required when on the center's premises. And then in 2017, staff reportedly used a high chair to restrain a 3-year-old after a playground fight. Owner and manager, let's put them up. Courtney Fontenot has been unavailable for comment. Since last week, the daycare remained closed and disabled all social media. They're trying to disappear. Google reviews also cite an unnamed employee by racism by multiple accounts. Unnamed employee for racism by multiple accounts. Here's the cause and effect. The reason why I wanted you to know some of the background through the inspection process is because they had 9 significant violations. 9. You have to put this in the framework of simple common sense. If you don't care about children in one aspect, let's say, you allow hazardous things to remain around them. It is not a wrong assumption that you don't care about the children in another aspect. And then the violations are at least consistent, semi-consistent if nothing else. But they were allowed to continue to operate. I guarantee you there's another document. It's called what they pay to the state document. You see, many times the agencies that regulate the institution are also being funded by the very organizations that they oversee. That's the way the process normally works. So if you start actually shutting down facilities, you may have a net negative revenue. But when it comes to children, There is no political, economic measure. You should simply do what the rules require every time, no exception. All right, dear sister, thoughts on this?
Yeah, so first and foremost, just as a childcare worker, right, provider in general, you are held to a higher standard of care, right? You have a higher duty to take care of these children and protect these children as they are in your care. And that is what parents expect when they drop their kids off. And quite frankly, when they're paying their money for you to watch their children, right? So this is just unacceptable across the board. However, I do think that there should be some negligence, right? Vicarious liability for whomever is running this facility, right? Courtney, whoever he is, he needs to be, or they, whoever they are, need to be held liable for this as well, because you hired the teachers and the staff that are doing these egregious acts, right, against these children. And let's be clear, if we treated pets like this, if we had pets, right? Dogs, animals, held up like this, criminal charges would be quick, right? There would be petitioners, people all over that, making sure that some sort of justice was held. And so I think the same should be done here. And I also think that whoever does the evaluations and let this facility slide, y'all need to be held vicariously liable too, because you clearly didn't do your job and you clearly didn't follow your duty and whatever oath or whatever contract you signed for your job, because this should not be allowed. Right? Children, as much as we have our pro-lifers, y'all should be all over this, because what we don't want is people abusing children, harming children, right? Putting children in danger. And this is exactly what is happening now. And so it's just completely unacceptable. And I think liability needs to be held from the top down.
And the fact that it was so accepted shows the culture of that entire environment. And one former employee said it's actually been happening for years. We will stay on top of it, bring you developments as they come.